got a trout on the trigger minnow, another one, guys. This trigger minnow bite is absolutely wide open. Fabulous fall fishing in the Sierras. Just absolutely wide open fishing here today. And you know, we've tried other baits and they're being, whoa, there's some head shakes. They're being fairly selective today. Don't really want a Trout Trix worm. They don't really want a spoon. We've tried some other soft plastics and it's, you know, been so-so. But when I started pulling this orange minnow, it was just lights out fishing. And it continues to be. I see him down there. Oh, that's a nicer fish. Is that a rainbow too? Yeah, that's a rainbow too. Keep looking for that elusive cutthroat. I'm just gonna try to lift him here. I'm gonna lift him black bass style, just like that. Right through the lower jaw, just like he's supposed to be hooked. He's feisty. He's slippery. I got him now. Howdy folks, Kel Kellogg here. I'm out at a High Sierra Lake and I'm actually out with my cousin. We were just chatting and you know me, I've spent thousands and thousands of hours fishing for trout and we had an interesting situation here today. We hit the lake this morning and we had glassy conditions. We started catching trout right away. Then around midday, it's 1:30 now. Then around midday, we started seeing the action intensify. And the action intensified for about a good hour to the point where I could, you know, no sooner drop my downrigger down and I'd have another fish on that fast. Now the wind has picked up and the wind is forecast to push up to about 25 miles an hour today. We have these high kind of mare's tail clouds. All of this adds up to a pressure change. And what we saw happen was as the pressure change approached, that bite intensified just like it does, you know, ahead of a low pressure area when a storm's coming in. But now that pressure change has arrived, signified by these ever increasing winds. We're still catching fish, but the bite has declined drastically. Now we're catching a fish every 15 to 20 minutes instead of every time we drop the downrigger down. So just something to think about, whether it's a storm coming in or just a weather change. An approaching front. Usually the bite is pretty stable, and right before the front arrives, the bite will intensify. The bite will get a lot better. But once the front arrives, the bite is gonna slow down to slower than it was before the front approached. And then on the retreating edge, you can see that wind pushing now. On the retreating edge of that front, when the low pressure area moves out, that's typically when you get that north wind and the bite can really shut down. And that's probably the toughest fishing you can encounter, is the fishing on the backside of a retreating low. That's why there's that old wives' tale that says a north wind blows the bait out of the fish's mouth. Well, fish are really tough to catch on north wind days because that typically occurs on the retreating side of a low pressure area, and it makes for very tough fishing. Got to remember, fish don't live in the air, they live in a liquid environment. So pressure changes are magnified for them. It really affects their physiology and it affects the way that they react to the bait. It affects the amount of activity that they're showing. The less active a fish is, the less they need to eat and the less they bite. They're not like us. They don't get bored, go in the kitchen and eat some Doritos. They eat in direct proportion to the amount of activity that you know they're exerting and the water temperature. Really cold water temperatures can suppress the bite and make the fish feed less. Times when the fish are less active also suppress the bite because they're simply not burning as many calories. Keep all this in mind in the future. This is going to help you catch more and bigger fish, and it's also going to give you the ability to kind of predict what the action is going to be during times of unstable weather. Fishing when fronts arrive can be very, very good. Fishing when fronts retreat can be very, very bad. So plan accordingly. I'm out of here for now. If you're looking for gear, you know where to go, fhsfishing.com.